In this video, I'm going to talk about some properties of the logarithm, okay? So first of all, there are two types of logarithm. One is called common logarithm. So the log with base 10 is called common logarithm, log of x with base 10. And if the base is 10, you don't have to write. It is understood, okay? So you don't have to write base 10. You just write log x. So if there is no base, we understand that has base 10. Similarly, the other type is called natural logarithm. So the log with base e is called natural log, okay? And then so for log x with base e, you don't have to write base e, you just write ln, natural log. N is for natural, L for log. So natural log of x, okay? So if you write ln, we understand that is log with base e. All right. And your calculator has log and ln. So that's why they have the special importance on that. If you are a business major, you will see a lot of log type of log. But if you are a science major, you will see a lot of ln, natural log type of log. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is properties of the logarithm. So there are a few properties, and then we will use these properties to solve a logarithmic equation, to combine the logs, to separate the logs, like that. Since log is very new thing for you, so we will learn how to add two logs, how to subtract two logs, that kind of thing, okay? All right, so the first property is, we know that a raised to 1, a raised 1 is equals to a, right? So can you write this using log? How do you write? To write down log, so we write, to write in terms of the log, what you do is you write exponent equals to, because the exponent is 1, equals to log of the other side, the base goes to the base. So log of a with base a is always 1, meaning that, so if you see the same numbers here, it will be 1. For example, so if you have like log of 5 with base 5 will be 1, log of 3 with base 3 will be 1. So if you see the same base and the number in the log, if they are the same number, it is always 1, okay? The next thing is a to the 0 is 1. Since a is non-zero, the 0 power of raised to any non-zero number is always 1, right? So how do you write this using log then? So you write 0 equals to log of the other side, and the base goes to the base. So what does it say? It says that for any base, the log of 1, logarithm of 1 is always 0 for any base. Make sense? All right. So let's talk about the third property. It is the sum of logarithm. So how do we add two logs? Okay, look at here. There is log of x. There is anything. The x can be anything there. Log of x with base a plus log of y with base a. See, both of these log have the same base. Okay, these two things can be different, but the log must have the same base. And also, you cannot have like 2 log x or 3 log y like that, okay? So you can combine in that case. The logs must be free from coefficient. Log must be free from number there, okay? If that, in that case, if you're adding 2 logs with the same base, what you do is you write a single log with the same base and you multiply x and y. That's how you add. Okay, let's do this example. So how do you add these two logs? You write a single log with the same base, because these two logs you can add, you can combine to a single log because they have the same base, right? And then both of the log are free from the number. Before that, there is no number, there is just log. There is just log, okay? Now you multiply these two numbers. So 5 times 4 is 20. All done for this one, right? How about here? So here is an equation, and you want to solve this equation for x. But here in the left side, there are 2 logs, and you want to combine those 2 logs. To get rid of the log, you need to have only a single log there, right? So since they have the same base, and since these logs, they do not have any number multiplying them before the log, so what you do, you combine them to a single log. You write log, base is 3, you write x times x minus 2 equals to 1. Make sense? Okay, you want to solve for x, keep that in mind. Now how do you get rid of log? How do you get rid of log? So what you do is base to the other side, right? So you write 3 to the 1 equals to, you write x times x minus 2. Make sense? So you got rid of the log basically here. Now what you do next is, now let me distribute this right hand side. You can write that everything to the left side. So what you can do is x squared minus twice x. I distributed x to x and 2 equals to 3 to the 1 is 3. This is a quadratic equation now, right? So how do you solve the quadratic equation? First thing you do is make the right hand side 0, right? So subtract 3 on both sides. So what do you get? X squared minus 2x, x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Now either you need to use the quadratic formula or get the two factors. So x minus x plus something equals to 0. So x minus 3x plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, so what are the values of x? If you solve the first one, you will get x equals to 3 from here. From here you will get x equals to -1, because if you said x minus 3 equals to 0, and then add 3 on both sides, you will get x equals 3. And if you solve x plus 1 equals to 0 and subtract 1, you will get x equals to -1. So we got these two values of x. But after you got the values of x, what you must do is check each of the values into the given equation, whether that makes sense or not. Keep this in mind. Log is defined only for the positive numbers, okay? Log is not defined for the negative numbers or zeros. Alright, so let's plug in x equals to 3. What do you get? Log of 3 with base 3, that's fine. Log of positive number is okay. And also log of 3 minus 2 is 1. So that's positive, that's fine. So 3 is okay, 3 is good. And how about -1? Log of -1, that's not good. Log is not defined for -1. If you plug that in your calculator, log -1, it doesn't make sense. The calculator will show you error. So log is not defined for 0 or -1. So -1 is not the answer. So the right answer is x equals to 3 only. This is how we solve an equation using the sum rule, okay? Next we talk about the difference of two logs, okay? If there is like log x with base a minus log of y with base a, be careful, they must have the same base and they should not have any number in front of them, right? In that case, you can write log base a, just a single log, and then you divide x by y. X divide y, okay? So for example, here in example 1, there is log 45 with base 3, right, minus log 5 with base 3. Since they have the same base, and since the log, they do not have any number before that, so you can combine them and then write a single log, log base 3, and then you divide this 45 divided by 5, right? So it is 45 divided by 5. So how much is that? It is log of 9 with base 3. Make sense? So how much would be that one? Do you know that? So log of 9 with base 3 is means what exponent raised to 3 is 9. So 3 to the 1 is 3, right? 3 to the 2 is 9. So the answer will be just 2. Because log 9 with base 3 is what exponent raised to 3 is 9. And the exponent is 2 here. Okay, let's see the another example. In here, you want to solve for x. This is also an equation there, and equals to 1 is there. Now you want to solve this for x, okay? So how do you combine this first? Since both of these log have same base, there is a minus sign, and these log, they do not have any number before them. So you can combine them into a single log, log base 2, and then there is x plus 3. Since there is a minus sign, you divide by x minus 1 and equals to 1. Alright, now how do you solve this equation? You want to get rid of log, you want to write without log. How do you do that? You do base to the other side, so it is like 2 to the 1 equals to what? X plus 3 over x minus 1. That's what you get. Make sense? Next one, how do you solve this? Because there is x plus 3 and then x minus 1. There is x in the denominator. On the left side there is just 2. So what do? You multiply both sides by the factor in the denominator. You do x minus 1 and then times x minus 1. You multiply both sides by x minus 1. On the left, what do you get on the left? So on the left side you get 2x. You just distribute that 2 to x and -1, right? So 2x minus 2 is equals to, on the right you cancel that x minus 1 and x minus 1, so you got x plus 3. Make sense? Now you subtract x and then add 2, because you want to solve for x, right? So if you subtract x, you cancel that x and x, you cancel that plus 2 and minus 2, so 2x minus x is x equals to 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, now after you got the value of x, what you do is you plug back and then see whether that value works or not. So let's plug in 5 for x. Log of 5 plus 3, it is positive, that's good. And minus log of 5 minus 1 is 4, that's good too, right? So x equals to 5 is the right answer for this example. The next is, so we want to use the log properties like sum and difference formula to write down a single log into the many logs. It may be sum of logs or the difference of logs, right? So when do we have sum, when do we have difference? If there is like ratio of something divided by other thing, that is the difference, right? See, if it is ratio, then you can write the difference of two logs. But if there is product, like we did in the sum formula, sum of log formula, if there is a product, that will be broken into sum of two logs. Make sense? Okay, so here there is a fraction, there is a ratio, right? In that case, what you do is log of x plus 2 base a minus log of 3 base a. Log of the top minus log of the bottom. So log of the top, this is basically log x divided y is log of the x minus log y, right? That's how it works. Now how about this one? So I want to expand this into the logs, meaning that you want to write many logs, and you want to break this log into several logs, right? So what do you do? Log something divided by the other thing. So what you do here is log of the top, x squared x minus 3 minus log of the bottom, that is x to the 3/2. The base is not given, so the base is 10 here. Again, there is a product, right? For the product we have the formula for that, so it is log x squared plus log x minus 3 and then minus log x to the 3/2. Make sense? So what we did here is, since there is a product, x squared times x minus 3, for the product, what is the formula? Log of the first plus log of the second, because when you combine these two, you multiply this and that, right? So that's why if you want to break that into the two, then you do this similar way and then minus that. So what is the idea then? If there is something in the bottom, then that will have minus log. See, there is negative log 3, negative log x to the 3/2. For anything on the top, they will have positive sign. So log of x squared, if it is multiplied, it will have log x squared plus log of x minus 3 minus log of x to the 3/2. That's the basic idea. All right.